In the top right side, we do have ourselves a blue Zerg player fighting with a incredible, well-rested time behind him now, I hope. He is from the Afrika Freaks, Mr. Armani. The well-rested. In the bottom left side, someone, the properly prepared Red Terran, Shopify Rebellious. He is Byun. From the properly prepared Byun. Putting down his barracks a little bit to the low ground here. I mean, towards the bottom of the map, rather than in the wall. May want to make it appear like there's something missing here if the Overlord flies in. Pretty cool, pretty cool. I was very excited to see Armani versus Byun. Because Armani has been absolutely destroying Terrans recently. I believe we have seen the most previous time these two fought, Armani won as well, if I'm not mistaken, if my memory is serving me right. You know, I believe if my memory is serving me right as well, I should have a legal lag right here. So if I just go over there and then type it in again. There we go, Byun. Just go to a quick look-see here, figure stuff out. When was the last time he played Armani? It's not in the most recent results. You know what? We're giving up on it. I'm sure. I'm sure Armani won somehow, some way. Just because his CVT is just so ridiculous right now. And then again, it is Byun. It is Byun, a very difficult opponent. We'll give them some time. We'll get our not projections, perspectives. We'll get our perspectives correctly calibrated with this series right here. Is that a little bit of a gamble to not put that barracks up on top of your high ground? Just, you know, in case there is like some sort of a link first play. Like a, I don't know, spawning pool first. People do spawning pool first. It's not out of the question. It's something that happens. I promise you, it does happen. Alright. Just getting everything set up here. There we go. 4 Zerglings. 1 Zergling. Doesn't find that much out. Guess he knows there's 2 Marines on the low ground there, so a little bit of an indicator there, I suppose. Probably wouldn't put those 2 Marines there if you, well, either didn't have an expansion up and rolling there, or if you were trying to hide the fact that you don't have an expansion. So, I guess he knows there's 2 Marines right now. At least. Gonna be Hellion drops perhaps coming out of Byun. Armani starting to make a spine crawler here at his natural base. Very defensive. Ah, I see. Okay, he's bulking up the Marines here. Those are gonna all huddle together in the medevac. As we will have those Hellions as a separate threat entirely. Moving along the right side here. Hoping to take aim at the drones as soon as they try to evacuate. That's right, Bitterwood. It is a best of 9. I feel a little bad making Byun do a best of 9 after like 25 minutes of him anxiously trying to contact Armani as well in any way fashionable. I'm glad that he managed, though. I'm really glad that he managed. We all should thank Byun here, really, because without Byun, there would not be a match of StarCraft right now, right? It could have been like, you know what, never mind, just give me the free win, or it'd be like, you know what, just get me another opponent that you can find somewhere that's going to be way easier to beat. No, he spent his time and efforts trying to get a hold of Armani through every line that he could think of. He contacted Solar, he contacted Barding. They got on the case, they all started to help Byun out here, and you know what, that's really cool to see. That's really cool to see. Byun stepping up his game there for trying to get us all the StarCraft that we were hoping to see. So, there you go. There you go. You know what, if I wasn't a Byun fan already, I am right now. Like, honestly, the more times I interact with Byun in these little, like, lobby-like situations, where it's just like his little name and my little name. He's a really nice guy. Like, honestly, he is one of the most nicest Korean pro gamers there. Just always saying hi, always chatting with me and stuff like that. It's incredibly nice guy. Alright. Armani, on the other hand, oh man. Yeah, he gets a little bit sleepy now and again. Oh, this happens to me sometimes as well, where you're like, oh, right, better get those CVs on the gas, and then it's like, oh, well, never mind. Alright, Marines here might actually be too much for that hatchery. Yes, it is. That hatchery has to get cancelled. That was a pretty far along produced hatchery. It's never nice when that happens. Oh, that medevac is still quite low. It does need to retreat. Okay. Stays alive. That was, that was incredibly close. 6 HP left on that bad boy. Might not even get repaired right now because, well, it's going to be needed at the next push right here on the left side. More siege tanks coming in. Bailing speed still quite a ways off. So these siege tanks have all the time in the world to kind of set up where they want to. The Marines are utilizing this opportunity as well as much as possible. Trying to be a little bit skeptical right now, though. Bailing speed just completed. And there's still a lot of creep underneath the feet of those Marines. Yeah, sure, you've taken out the tumors, but the creep itself is still there. Okay, they do manage to evacuate off the creep and get a much better fight going against those Bailings right there. Siege tanks still shooting away as well, of course, but this is a large number of Marines. Ooh, almost getting caught out there. Quite a couple of them do fall, as well as the medevac. Great target fire there from Armani. Doing a bang-up job right now with the defense here, I would say. Those Banelings may as well just roll them in. They're not going to run away anymore, but... Oh, my... Okay, never mind, never mind. He lost. Bottom left side, there's a man. And top right side, there's a man as well. That we're introducing right now. So let's focus on him first. It's the Blue Zerg. Fighting for the Freak of Freaks. The one and only. Armani. Bottom left side, a red Terran. It's the House of the Shopify Rebellion that he represents. It's Byun. Shopify Rebellion, one of the more exciting new additions into the StarCraft 2 team kind of atmosphere. Really keen to see what they kind of plan to do. Is this just kind of, you know, their max? Is this where they're going to stick with this? I guess with TLO on the case, you know, he's going to probably continuously make good cases for everyone to keep investing into StarCraft 2. Oh my Byun. Hello. Hello there. This is just one gas still. Okay. Okay, well, sure. I mean, at this point in time, I just feel like I need to just grab a beer and just sit back, relax, watch this unfold, because, well, it's a lot of Reapers that are going to be coming out towards Armani. Armani's already got a good amount of gas here, so I don't think he's going to delay the speed upgrade all that much, which means he's not in a horrible position to defend against this, right? Then again, it is Byun, and it is Byun utilizing Reapers, so let's see how it goes. That's the first Reaper already on the case with the Zerglings. Killing these Zerglings now, actually a much bigger deal than it would be, you know, not just, oh, well, now it's easier for him to get the creep tumors later down the line. No, this is now life and death. If he gets all these Zerglings, then Armani's going to be potentially in a lot more trouble than he would be otherwise. Wants to utilize them the moment when that speed completes. Alright, now 3 Reapers here, like the little micro with the Herd Reaper in the back. No target fire onto the Herd Reaper there, so it's still healing up. Very nice control. Okay, did manage to hit it up there once. And Byun safeguards the low HP Reapers once again. So they're all still alive. Managed to get 2 drones and a couple of Zerglings so far. Also 2 Zerglings, I guess. Make that 3. Make that 5. Line getting a little bit low now, and he hasn't lost a single Reaper yet, which is a big deal. I mean, if that just keeps happening, he just doesn't lose stuff, this is gonna snowball. This is gonna snowball hard. Okay, now he's gonna start losing some Reapers here. Let's see how many he still manages to keep alive against this Queen and the Zerglings. Man, this micro here, it's getting rather intense. He did lose a couple of them, though. He lost 2. He lost 2. I have to say, if the strategy still works, losing 2 Reapers shouldn't be the end of it, right? Losing 4 Reapers, though, that is rather rough. Look at the way he's been trading, though. I guess he lost the 200 gas over the 0 gas, but 900 minerals expended versus the 200 right here. Behind this, Byun is setting up shop for a follow-up with a triple command center play and a factory being produced as well. He's stopped the Reaper production, so we're going to start seeing most likely just pure marine production here coming up pretty soon with the reactors on the way. As these Reapers here, I mean, they're still going to be a threat, right? They have to avoid these Zerglings, which they majestically do right now without a real really knowing that they're there, I suppose. Makes it even more impressive. And get a Queen, actually. They 2-shot Queens in this this quantity of Reaper. That is cool to see. Wonder if he's gonna try to follow this up with Hellions as well. Try to get them mixed up with the Reapers. Just keep the gravy train rolling. Because, so far, has this been worth it? I want to say yes, because he still has the Reapers. But I guess he has the 3 bases now as well, right? So, and he's safe. The problem for me that I'm feeling right now is the amount of droning that Armani is able to do. I guess again we have the triple CC, so and Byun had this second base rather early, forced out a lot of links, so he delayed the economy. But was it enough here? Because without any Hellion pressure on the map, the creep should be spreading out rather nicely. We have a Baneling Nest with a lair coming up as well, so that means. Well, if this marine attack does come, there's going to be Banelings, but there won't be Baneling speed. There is a fair chunk of the creep. Very good to eliminate one of them already here, as it's trying to spread out. Looks like he is focusing those creep tumors right now. Knows that they are important to take out, especially against those slow Banelings right here, and just a majority of marines on the field of battle. Another stim does get forced out, maybe one that he didn't quite want to make there, but he does have his medevacs now. Can wait a little bit, recover and replenish those HP points, and see where he wants to take this next. Can try to perhaps go into the main base. Looks like Armani has figured that one out already as well. Setting up shop right there. As Byun is just gonna stick around the edges. Take out every creep tumor he can. He's getting himself the combat shields +1/+1. Same time for Armani. No Baneling speed just quite yet, though, on that production. Okay, there we go. Now getting that also. I feel like we kind of had the marine production. It must have stalled at some moments, right? I haven't purposely been looking at the production chain to see whether or not he's consistently building 5 marines, but he's been out with this group of marines for a while now, and it just doesn't feel like he's been producing 5 marines at a time back at home in a way to me. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just feeling like he's been out on the map for a much longer period of time than he actually has been. But yeah, it looks like he's just spending his money elsewhere at the moment. Getting siege tanks, getting another little defensive setup wall here. He's getting another factory, some more barracks. The extra production of the will be ready when the third base economy starts kicking in. Bailing still no speed, so these marines, they are still quite a nasty thing to deal with. They always can be picked up into the medevacs here, of course. Will not attempt a maneuver into the fourth base. But we'll attempt to maneuver with more medevacs on the right side of the map. Zerglings were there patrolling the area, though. Not going to allow anything easy access at this moment in time. Pure Zerglings here won't be able to cut this, especially with just a slight upgrade advantage, even if it was just for a couple of seconds. That +1 attack was available for Byun, and it wasn't quite available for Armani just yet. So he's trading out those Zerglings over here a little bit quicker than you would normally anticipate. 11 Banelings setting up shop for a run-by attack as, you know what, that looks like another wave assault for Byun heading out on the map. My leaf is, well, either third base or natural, rather exposed. We'll have to see where Armani decides to throw his sponge at. Where he's gonna go for the face or the groin here. We'll have to wait and see. Oh, a couple more harassing marines stepping onto creep. Looks like they did manage to take out a good amount. Look at this wave of creep right here without any tumors nearby anymore. Very well done. And that setting up shop for a Terran in between the Zerg bases. If he ever gets there with his siege tanks, I guess not like this though. He's never going to get there with his siege tanks like this. But yeah, imagine, right? Probably we don't have to anymore because the siege tanks are gone now, but still. These marines, they are carving their pathway through without any Baneling support here to really have a say about the matter. It seems like Byun is having a wonderful time having just the most fantastic trade here. Marines are getting incredibly low, but look at that target fire onto those Banelings. Very nice. And gets out of that with the majority of his units. Meanwhile, also pushing into the natural base, it seems those units have been taken care of. Apparently almost taking out the Baneling nest as well, which kind of makes me suspect Byun wasn't paying too much attention there. It's unlikely that you're going to try to take out the Baneling nest there, right? I mean, I guess if you do get it, it's good, but the drones behind it, much safer, much cleaner way of just kind of getting that attacked right there. Alright, well, regardless, more Zerglings here. I guess I also forgot, I didn't quite get to see the Banelings here. They blew up against the wall. We're going to try to keep our eye out on those moments right there. Pushing in once again, Banelings being morphed on that bottom part. See the range of those siege tanks here. Pretty reasonable. A good portion of the ramp still open for business, but not quite entirely so. Baneling run by, not quite finding anything. Siege tank shooting down its own barracks, trying to target down the Banelings, but that's about it. That's about it. Other engagements here, and I think that Armani is on the brink of breaking right now. He's just stuck on the Ling Bane Hydra attack, and I'm not sure if he's planning to try and get himself upgraded into Lurkus or something of the sorts. Right now, it's just not working out well, those drones going. So that's a little bit sad, isn't it? He's just like, alright, I guess this base is just not gonna be mine. To be fair, like, the fact that he got all of those drones out of there, that is rather ridiculous. Right? That base was under assault for such a long period of time. He kept mining that for such a long time and then just being like, alright, I can have one little skirmish here in the front of my base that's gonna kind of set up a defensive perimeter for these drones to be able to make their escape, and then we'll just start mining off my newly established fourth base. Talking about newly established fourth bases, Byun right here with a planetary fortress in the works. Gonna set up shop right up there in the, what do you call it, the 5 o'clock location. the flyer clock location. Some more siege tanks here, a little bit abysmal with their trajectory of movements. Not quite sure where they were planning to head towards, but found themselves a quick death, untimely demise, really. Siege tanks with the bio, yeah, it's just too much. We've been seeing it in the frame coming in for a while now, and maybe at some point in time I should try to just use some musical instruments for a StarCraft 2 cast, right? If I could play musical instruments, I probably would just have that one whistle that goes like, you know, and then like, is it called a blow whistle, something like that? I don't know. And just like when anything good happens, it's like, whee! You can have like a... That could be fun. That could be fun. Like a sound game on the radio, but then with StarCraft 2 casting. Without somebody explaining what they're excited about, just happy noises happening all of a sudden. Could you have like a soundboard with like gunfire and then like a pew 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 pew, Terran victory or something like that, you know? Would be interesting. Would be interesting to try and cast like that, honestly. I don't think it would be good, but I think I would find it interesting to do. I don't think it would be good to watch, but I think it would be fun to do. That's my take on it. We're having the double barracks here coming up for Byun. No spawning pool first for Armani. He's just setting up shop with that hatchery right here, and then there is a spawning pool afterwards. Low ground CC as well for Byun. I mean, we all know what that means, don't we? Well, Byun, I'm kind of interested. The two barracks opening we have been seeing a little bit more often. It could just be that he's going to try to get himself up to the medevac now as well, right? And then just do the stimmed double medevac marine timing kind of push. Which is something he's very good with, I have to say. But at this point in time, he won with the triple Rex Reaper build, so... I think you can just do whatever right now. I think you can just do whatever you like, Mr. Byun. Now, what are we expecting Armani to be doing here? Because I know his ZVT is really good, but... So far, it's been underwhelming, right? It's been underwhelming. What do we want him to do? Do we want to see him do like roach pushes? Is that what we want to see? Do we want to see him try to be more aggressive with the Ling and Bane, or focus more so on counterattacks rather than trying to absorb the attacks of Byun? Do we want to see him just switch it up entirely with the tech and just kind of forego the Hydralisk, go into Mutalisk first? What do we want to see from him, right? That's kind of the question. There's a lot of opportunities, a lot of things he can try out. And it looks like he's just going to get a little bit more aggressive with the Lynx and the Banelings. He's going to try to attempt a bust. And that bust could be very strong against this double Rex opening right now. I think he's seen the double Rex, and that is why he is planning to do this. The double Rex, of course, the Marines, their weakest units, basically, in the Terran arsenal, apart from the SEV, when it comes to dealing with Banelings. But then again, those are Banelings usually with speed that they have to engage with, so the slow Banelings are going to be a little bit easier. But then again, there's a lot of Lynx right here ready to try and trap up all of those. Oh my dear lord, yep. Those Marines now stuck on the high ground. They're already being eaten by the Zerglings. Now the Banelings need to try and get themselves down the ramp. Okay. That makes sense to me. That makes sense to me. He doesn't want to just throw away 3 Banelings onto his supply depot, not get it, and then have it be repaired. Right? That does make sense to me. Now, with that little bit of extra time, I don't think he's going to be able to bust through here anymore. The secondary wall has been constructed. He's got himself 14 SCVs, and yeah, in all honesty, oh wow, the second wall has been dropped. Is this gonna matter? No, the Hellions, great placements. Still a lot of Zerglings here that were made extra. Felt like a very powerful attack here for Armani, but I feel like it could have been even cleaner, if you know what I mean. Going up that ramp a second time, probably not bearing any fruit. He could have just stayed on the low ground. Could have kept those banelings alive, or couldn't have made those banelings at all and went for quicker upgrades or lair or something like that a bit sooner. And then he probably didn't have to make this amount of Zerglings afterwards, right? So there's a couple of tiny things there that get me a bit of a glimpse of hope here for Byun in a way. Do give me some hope. He's still, you know, one base mining versus, well, two and a little bit. It's another base being dropped onto the low ground right now. For Byun, of course, back into its original place. Where it's supposed to be. Its natural habitat. The secondary command center enclosure on the low ground here. Stay back up. Alright. Well, guys. I don't want to ruin the surprise too quickly, but we're going to see a lot of stuff coming across the map here pretty soon. It's a lot of stuff. It looks nasty, like nasty stuff, and you know what? I think it might kill someone. I do believe it might just be the end of someone here, and you know. I feel like the Oracle of Delphi that way, just being like, if Armani commits to his roach attack, a great player will lose this game. I'm such a freaking nerd. Alright. Oh, Ravagers. Oh, look at that. Unsiege of the siege tank already. Oh, he's so good. Just straight up being like, you know what, that siege tank's gonna go down. I need to get it back up further away from those Ravagers. Keeps it alive right now. A little marine drop over here. It's going to intercept a couple of Zerglings, perhaps. No, we'll move into the main base. Low grounds under heavy assault once again here. That's so many banelings. Sorry, Zerglings. There's 0 banelings there. There's a lot of Ravagers though as well. There's also roaches. But no banelings. No banelings whatsoever. 15 SCVs once again fall. Another siege tank goes out of orbit, I want to say. No longer in existence. As we are waiting to see whether or not these Roaches and Ravagers and Zerglings, without any banelings there, do want to try and commit onto the high ground. It's going to be the toughest push. It's going to be a very difficult place to break. And maybe I would like to just prefer if he just sticks, you know, with this. Kind of just maintaining this area, not letting the Terran down the ramp as easily as he would like to. Hold your ground, using those Ravagers. Just slowly but surely eke out ahead in the economy game back at home. Lair is being developed now though. Almost twice the amount of workers here available for Armani. If he was going to win any game, this should be a given. This one is going to be one of them. The first wave assault, I thought, you know what, Byun did take quite a bit of damage. I think it was like 14 SCVs the first time around already. Right, that is a good amount. But there were some things about the assault as well that weren't as clean as they could have been. Which made me believe that there might be a fighting chance here for Byun. Now, second assault. Once again, quite heavy losses being suffered here for Byun. Again, a crazy amount of SCVs. 33 already gone in total right now. And lacking any type of mining at the natural base. So we can see his main base. That's where he's been doing all his muling. His main base pretty much entirely empty. He's going to be on one base mining for a while. As Armani, he still has his main base mining up a little bit. He has his natural third. A good opportunity to get a fourth base as well, I want to say. Not sure if he would see it as necessary. I think it would be. Yeah, alright, there we go. Does get a fourth base. Little marine push here. Roaches trying to protect the queens. Like the target fire on the queens, actually. Rather smart. Killing creep tomb is ain't the only way to deny creep. To get rid of it. Wow. Supposed to cancel that? Wow. And now, just kind of slowly poking away at the forces of Armani. I mean, it is still 60 drones versus 30 SCVs, right? This is still ludicrous. This is still ludicrous. But I feel like it's a losable game for Armani, right? It's losable. I'm not sure if it's winnable for Byun, but I think it's losable for Armani. And oh my god, I have my leg in the wrong position and it is cramping up real bad right now. Okay, well, that's fine. That's fine. We're ignoring it. And we're just going to suffer through it as we are going to commentate this game. Look at those Marines running in. They get a queen. Wonderful stuff. The Greens are going to be so confused by this. They're like, why is he making those noises? Another little assault squadron here. May not be getting as much success right there. There's no queens to be picking of. Oh my god. This feels horrible. It's just entirely empty of blood, it feels like. The entirety of my leg. Oh my. Kozan's revenge. Blackcraft too. Oh shoot. Alright. Well, we make it interesting. We make these games interesting, that's for sure. At least if you find lag cramp interesting, I guess. There's probably not a lot of people. Alright. Third base on the ground. This is where we need Byun to go, right? He's doing well so far. These are kind of the steps we were hoping to see. I'm a bit worried about that. He only has 39 SCVs. But he has a reasonable army. He should be okay against the Roach Reverer assault here. I don't think he's gonna die here. Like, it's just not gonna happen. Then again, Armani probably not looking to kill him. He just wants to trade. He just wants to trade as efficiently as he can, and then he's gonna replace all of this with lurkers. You know, that was a horrible trade. That was a horrible trade. I feel like he killed like 5 Marines with 20 roaches right there. That was ridiculous. That was ridiculous. Wait, that's an army supply graph, right? Yeah, look at that army size. Oh man, I should look at this graph more often. That is quite a ludicrously advantageous trade there for Byun. And this might give him an opportunity with this amount of siege tanks here. And no lurkers yet available. We don't have the long range for the lurkers. We don't have the quick burrow upgrade for the lurkers. So if at any time siege tanks are going to outposition and outplay lurkers, this could be a good moment here for Byun. There's also another little run-by happening. Zerglings entering the fray onto the third base of Byun. That is woefully unprotected right now. 2 Marauders and a siege tank jump into action, trying to mitigate the amount of damage that's going to be sustained there. It's the bio once again trying to move forwards to get hit with a big volley from the lurkers right there. They are available now with their long-ranged grooves as well. Just look at that damage coming in here. Alright, Byun taps on out of that. He knew he had to break his opponent. In the top right side, we have a blue Zerg player. A man that is becoming quite legendary, I'm going to say, with his ZVT. I believe, not that long ago, I heard a statistic that the last time Armani lost in a ZVT was like months ago. And like an official match was like months ago. Now, of course, me being the excellent, hard-working caster man that I am, I immediately jump to the conclusion that whatever this person in my chat is saying, it must be right. It must be. So, we're using this point right now to emphasize this moment in time to make it seem even more grandiose that this man, seemingly in a little bit of trouble, seemingly struggling against his Terran opponent. It's the Blue Zerg, fighting for the Afrika Freaks. It is Armani. Bottom left side, a Terran. A man that is known to still have his wrist injuries as well, of course. In the best of 9, he says, back in his own home, he doesn't really suffer that much, but how can that be true, right? How can that be true? There must still be something happening there. Anyway, he's the Shopify Rebellion, Red Terran. It is Byun. Can he keep it up? Can his endurance and stamina hold on here? Endurance and stamina, it's one of these things that we don't really get to consider with an esports, right? Well, we consider it, but it's in the back of your mind in a way. It's never on a full display at some other competitive sports where you can see the person struggling and you can see that fight against, you know, the tiredness and then the wanting to win, which is why I really like the fact that we have those face cams on in a lot of those games, because it emphasizes so much of the competitive nature, right? And what makes competitive sports and esports so interesting, to me at least, is this willingness to go up against something that's difficult to do, something that's hard, and push yourself through those difficult moments in time. Where it feels like you want to give up, and then, you know, you just keep going and going and going, and then something happens, and you sometimes still see that push through moments in a way. And maybe that's another reason why Byun has such a fervent fan base, because of his injury in a way, right? Because people love seeing that struggle, they love seeing people overcoming those things and showing that it doesn't matter. That you can will your way through those types of things, and you can force yourself into fantastic places if you just put in all the hard work. Right, Roach Warren being constructed quite early on here for Armani. Once again, maybe looking to end this one with a bit of aggression. I mean, it worked out the previous game. You were struggling to make the Zergling, Baneling, Hydralisk style kind of work against his opponent, so I don't mind him switching things up here. I don't mind it at all. Byun, excuse me, man. I really need to grab my water at some point in time. I've been fighting this jug of just, I don't know, in my throat now for the morning. But as I was saying, what was I saying? Something StarCraft related, probably. We'll just hop in with something else StarCraft related, which is a medevac drop right here. It doesn't go anywhere. That's typical StarCraft right there. And I guess the more important part is that I didn't see the roaches coming in here for Armani. Reapers and the Hellion, the only real form of defense here, unless if we count a single Marine in the bunker. I guess we have to. At this point in time, there comes the retreating medevac. It's not an all-in, guys. It's definitely not an all-in. It's just a small little cluster of roaches and ravagers. Behind this, he's grabbing himself the drones. He's getting lair. He's upgrading. He's not going to try to force this into a decisive fight right here, right now. No, he's just poking in, doing damage. He's taken out the entirety of the wall. 3 supply depots go down. The bunker goes down. And that is quite a discouraging difference in minerals lost right now for Mr. Byun. The Raider saying you actually want Parting to win, but he's not playing. Actually, Parting is the reason why we have these 2 players play right now. He's the reason why this game still continued onwards. So yeah, you can thank him for that. Parting getting Armani out of bed. And well, that sounds weird if I put it like that. No, he messaged him, right? He messaged him. It's not like they were in bed together and then he pushed him out of bed. That's clearly not what I was saying. As Byun setting up his double attack once again. The forking maneuver. It really forks over your opponent on 2 angles. Ooh, that is nasty. Ooh, that nasty. What great casting, man. Sometimes I just catch myself. Just like, ooh, that nasty. Yeah, losing a medevac right there. That is a lot of Marines. Alright, another attempt here. I mean, he's just poking in, poking out. Doing the little dance. Making more drones. We have the Hydra Den and the Hive on the way as well. Looking for the lurkers, no doubt. Not going to be too far away. A good proper scan is going to be able to reveal both of those attacks coming up. So Byun as aware as we are now, and that's going to pull the trigger for him. That's going to initiate this move out. Seeing that there is a timing that he can hit right here, right now, before those lurkers are going to be a problem. He wants to. You know what? In a way, I feel like he needs to make something happen here. Especially, I mean, if he just loses this army without doing anything, I feel like that's going to be GG for Byun. But I don't think that will happen. I think he has a really good shot to make something happen here, right? It does look positive. This looks a bit worrisome. He has a reasonable chunk of bio, and they've already managed to take out all the Zerglings before the Roaches got involved. So that's a really big deal. That was like 3-4 volleys of all of those Roaches onto supply depots rather than the bio, right? That would have killed the bio. That would have been a big problem right there. But the supply depot wall kind of tanking up that damage. And now we have the Marines over here going uncontested. Not enough Roaches and Ravagers to really halt this easily. And that's going to mean the end of that base. Roaches over here still attempting to break through. Find some sort of success, but it's not looking as good as it is for Byun on the other side of the map right now. Taking out that base, more being constructed, of course. Armani not sitting idly by. Still trying to get himself up to that lurk attack, of course. Vipers in construction, Hydralisk we're seeing. As soon as that is available, it's going to be a lot more difficult for Byun to take out any future base. Now, Byun, in the previous game, of course, he kind of just jumped out as soon as he saw those lurkers. This time, I don't think he will. This time around, he's got a solid third base. He's got his 4th base on the way. Managed to take out a base of his opponents. He's got an actual economy, right? He has more workers than his opponent right now. At this stage in the game, if we do get a lot of lurkers on the field, that may not be the biggest point anymore, right? It feels weird to say, but as soon as the Zergs do have that lurker unit, they can set up so extremely defensively that you can kind of turtle your way out of that position back to where you do have yourself that brimming economy. That exquisite taste of luxury with like 80 drones or 90 drones. Alright, 3 medevacs. Patrolling the skies, looking for perhaps another base. It's not been remade though. Armani expanding towards the top left side. Ooh, that's a bit too much for Byun to fight right now. There's no lurkers with this army though. But there's no army with this with this army for Byun. Losing that 4th base right now as well. He's got a solid line of tanks on the low ground here, but he's struggling to get them involved with the fights overall. Okay, there we go. This should be a good one. Oh, those blinding clouds are absolutely destroying absolutely any chance that Byun has to obliterate this as quickly as he wants to. But they do run their course, and that little ramp area right there, it was enough with the bio to stop any severe damage from being taken, it seems, even without the siege tanks there. I thought he was going to be in trouble. Those blinding clouds, man, they looked absolutely killer. Loading up. Getting out of there. Once again, just being a nuisance. Stopping Armani from freely taking the bases here on the right side on the 3 o'clock. Up here on the top, there's lurkers morphing. It's not going to be able to stop them from becoming the devil demons in the ground that they are meant to be. The satanic moles that they are. Sorry, I'm getting excited, so I'm going to try to keep the camera movement as non-jittery as possible. Upgrades similar. Big concave here, of course, available for Armani. The siege tanks behind this are participating quite favorably with this fight in comparison to the lurkers. There's the Viper Ducks. Are going to be able to take out quite a couple of those siege tanks right now. As this is a difficult area still to push in. Oh, what is that? A couple of siege tanks managed to just barely get the edge of the lurkers right there. And all of them get knocked out instantly by the bio just jumping forwards. Byun finding a marvelous way to approach this, and that may be the end of Armani. There's another 2 medevac drop right here onto the 4th base. That is most likely just going to go down, and GG is cold. Should we make more of a fuss during the cast about, like, can Armani tie up the series? Will he fall behind more so? 1-4 right now. It would be bad. It would be bad, wouldn't it? But then what other maps would we still have available? We would have Blackburn. And then there should be one other map, right? There should be one other map that I'm just forgetting about somehow. 2,000 atmospheres? 2,000 atmospheres. There we go. I got there. That's what was confusing me, because I was thinking, like, there should be, if this is map number 5, there should be 2 other maps, but Blackburn was the only one popping into mind for some reason. Guess I still confuse Romanticide with 2,000 atmospheres now and again. They are quite different maps, to be fair, but it's kind of the same colors. Pretty colors though, don't get me wrong. Neato colors. Right, Zerglings getting a little bit of a scout. Not any damage being dealt though, of course. Should all be healed up the moment the medevac gets out. Little Girl Scouts Hellion trying to sell some cookies to the queens here, but not really any success. Maybe that cookie analogy with the Girl Scouts only works that the queens are the Girl Scouts and the creep tumors are the cookies, and then they don't want to sell the cookies, they just want to try to bury them under the ground, but then all the hungry customers, the Hellions in this case, are trying to still get the cookies so that, like, you know, they're angry that they're buried in the ground and they can't eat them anymore, so they just burn them. They burn them as a way of saying, like, if you can't have them, no one can. Or if I can't have them, no one can. I guess they can't have them either because they're buried in the ground. I don't know why, you know, Girl Scouts would bury their cookies in the ground, but I guess it doesn't matter. Because they're Zerg Girl Scouts, right? That's why. They're special. Alright. Well, little Banshee here, not going to be able to achieve anything either. Armani just still regularly droning up with quite a bit of severity. Hellion right there, not being able to buy some Cub Scouts cookies once again. Those queens trying to grab up their cookie badges. If you get 2 cookies out that survive till the end of the fight, then you get your cookie badge. That analogy doesn't work at all. I say it does. I say it does. I always find those the most fun to try and make work. In a way it does, alright? I just want to call the queens the Girl Scouts right now. The Cub Scouts. Just because I want to see a Zerg queen in a Cub Scouts uniform, alright? That is... like, that image got in my head and now I can't get it out and I'm just loving it. And then her in between all the other Girl Scouts that are just like the regular Girl Scouts, the queen. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. We got the Banshees once again, kind of just poking. A big attack is coming in for Mr. Byun. That is quite a committal. A third base is behind it as well, though, of course. As Mr. Armani doesn't quite have that bailing speed. Spire is coming up. May have to invest quite a bit of that gas saving up that you would normally do for the Spire in order to get the safety bailings out here, which is what he is doing. 10 bailings right now being constructed. I'm not entirely certain that he is aware of the whereabouts here, but should be able to figure it out right now as his Girl Scout cookies are being destroyed. Doesn't work. It really doesn't work. Alright, here we go. No bailing speed, as we mentioned. It's still quite a ways off. 10 seconds, in fact. Maybe that would have been something worth waiting for. Again, then, it may not have been a moment where he could have waited for it. Okay, now bailing speed. It's just too late. 3 more bailings coming in. This might just be a quick, decisive way to win this game right now, because Armani didn't get his bailing speed in time. Nor did he... wait 10 extra seconds for the engagement right there. The cookie destroyers. The Marines. I guess Hellions mostly, right? The evil ovens. Burning the cookies. The evil oven cards. It's a terrible evil creation. Alright. Here we go. Second attempt to make the breach happen here. It might work. It might work. There's quite a couple of bailings now. They do have speed, and this Marine boy has me a little bit worried. It does have me a little bit worried. Okay, so far, good spread. There we are. Stepping up into this position. More Mutalisks and Zerglings and Banelings are being produced. The base goes down. Okay, there we go. 4th base. No longer available here for Armani. Is going to still try to commit for the cleanup here. There's Banelings. Almost getting the most beautiful connections right there that they could have ever asked for. But that was still a good fight for Armani. Obviously, a couple of Marines do manage to escape before the green ball of goo just washed over them. The tsunami wave of Baneling excrement came towards them. They managed to avoid that scenario, and so now we may have a moment where Byun just is going to tap right back into the ring here. Stepping up back to the plate to take another swing with his bat made of cookie destroyers and cookie annihilators, those siege tanks, of course. Ooh, there we go. Alright, looks okay, looks to be fine. That attack can still continue onwards. The Mutalisk here, they really do need some Banelings. They really do need some Banelings. And those Banelings right now, they are ever so important. They are just being picked off every moment they step a little bit too close. One of them manages to get something going, but that is still just too much for Byun. He stepped up to the plate again. Home run is hit. Armani just couldn't keep up with him. We are just gonna have to wait a little bit. It looks like the regular macro openings once again. It's a big map, so I'm not expecting too much roach aggression. But Armani has been finding some success with it, right? He has been finding some success with it. Does he want to try to do it again, though? I mean, Byun probably catching up to the fact that there is a likelihood of roaches increasing, seemingly, as the series is continuing onwards. So maybe he's just going to be prepared for it from this point onwards, or just really on the lookout whether or not it's coming in. Right. Queen's about to pop, so Reaper here shouldn't be able to get anything done. Didn't get a Zergling, no drones. It's gonna be rough to get a Creep 2 mirror as well. Like, there's no way. Oh my god, 1 HP! You're kidding me. He was getting a little bit reckless there with that Reaper, I have to say. Did look a little bit peculiar there. Like he should have died. Just barely didn't, so I guess it works. You think he knows? Like, you think he's like was actually watching for the moments like, alright, I got like half a second worth of healing, so I can tank 1 more shot right now. You think he knew? Or you think that was just kind of luck? You think the King of Reapers knew? I guess not, because he was also getting nibbed on by Zerglings there as well. And it's very like, I really doubt anyone would be able to like calculate that, right? Like the amount of Zergling hits you take together with the Queen hits you take, while doing all the other stuff that you're doing. Maybe there's people like that. I don't even know. That'd be crazy though if you could like do that. Nice little Overlord scout headed in. See what he saw. Well, those are some pretty good scouts right there. Seeing the tech lab rotating. Furiously being green. Hulking out right there. Being a little Bruce Banner tech lab, I see. Would be funny if you zoomed in on the tech lab, you would hear a little guy inside just screaming, just like hulking out, you know, because he's working so hard on discovering this new technology. That would be funny. Just a bunch of angry engineers yelling at each other. Like, of course it's not like that. Of course not. It's this. What are you doing? We've done this 1,000 times. How are you still so slow? I don't know, sir. Alright, well, anyway. Hellion Seal on the left, Banshees on the right. Might be in a little bit of trouble here with this hatchery. At least it's gonna sustain a bit of damage. Might be easier to take out at a later point of time. Although that is still a lot of HP that's gonna gather up while producing here. And then again, that is, you know, a good amount of Marines. It's a solid amount of Marines. It's the amount of Marines that might not be a difficulty for this amount of Zerglings, though. Unless if those Hellions are there as well, and they get a good couple of connections onto this batch of Zerglings before they kind of spread out and start attacking those units. But I guess we'll never know for the moment, as the Zerglings getting utilized for a bit of counterattack. Gotta be careful with the SCVs here, of course. Oh, that siege tank fire could cost him a couple of SCVs here as well. It's a rough situation, I guess. It's picking between the lesser of two evils. Either death by friendly fire or death by Zerglings. That is never that great. 19 SCVs. That is a good amount. That is a very solid amount. It's going to put Byun under a lot of pressure here. May feel the need to try and get a push out going. Now it's just with Zerglings as well, guys. Pretty darn good. Upgrade similarly timed. Baneling speed. Oh, look at that. He got it instantaneously this time. This is the upgrade that kind of budged a lot of fights and a lot of games for him, right? Just not having the Baneling speed upgrade in time. Well, no longer. This time, this is just ready to kick into high gear. Still a denial of that 5th base, but you know what? Now that he's on 4 bases, he is fine. He is living it up. Having a wonderful time. More and more things coming in for our Zerg player, I would say. Actually, the work count here, it's not that abysmal for Byun. It's not that abysmal. Was a little bit lackluster for a moment there. Let's see the resource income. Yeah, look at that, 2k extra income advantage there for Armani for that period. But I mean, that does seem like a pretty reasonably quick recovery for Byun. We know that he's capable of trading as efficiently as they can with the Terran units. Might still be a reasonable position for him. Let's see how he navigates these waters with another big counterattack coming in. Those Marines trying to get themselves back to safety. 2 siege tanks making these Banelings and Zerglings reconsider their available options. So we have 2 siege tanks with Hellbats actually protecting the flank. Very cool to see this right here. In come the Banelings. Need to target fire those Banelings with the siege tanks. Alright, doing a pretty good job. There we go, that's a good shot right there. And he keeps that flank alive. Majority of the units are Armani here right now with all these queens. They're kind of stuck behind them. But it doesn't feel like he's in a comfortable spot to make a fight happen now. On the left side though, maybe starting to feel the pressure to just try and deal with one of these flanks permanently at some point in time. But definitely struggling. 5 workers have gone down. Supplies slowly turning into the favor for Byun right now. We suffered quite extreme SCV losses earlier on, and now just making it look like a regular TVC game. Like nothing ever happened. Oh, looks like he did lose the Marines on this flank. Zerglings and Banelings getting a bit aggressive there on that side, I would say. Wasn't quite expecting them to push all the way out towards that area. But, you know what, that did cause him to have his left flank now finally be secured. Which means he can prioritize all his efforts on this right flank, which does seem to be the more vulnerable right now with this Terran army just right there on the edge. Another run by wouldn't be a bad idea. Did help him out a ton in that first couple of minutes in the game. See if it manages to achieve anything here. Doesn't really look like it. Byun just not going to allow something like that to happen again, it would appear. 7 SCVs do still die due to the banelings. Did manage to wiggle their way through. If Armani holds on here, you should be okay. Should be okay. We don't have a hive yet, but we have infestation pit and we have the Hydra Den. So not too far removed from getting lurkers at some point in time. But I guess he just doesn't feel comfortable enough. And this is a very scary thing for Zerg. If you don't feel comfortable to try and make that transition happen into lurkers, you need to get a good fight going. You need to. Otherwise, if you just keep fighting like this, especially against somebody like Byun, right? He's just going to be so efficient with those Marines, with those siege tanks. It's just going to snowball out of your hands, out of control. As we're kind of seeing happening right now, more and more just multitasking coming out of Byun in an absolute fantastic fashion. Getting closer and closer to this base. A lot of drones now unable to mine, I suppose. There, okay, there we go. Now returning back to mining. It's only 3 siege tanks here, right? But Armani tried to break it for so many times already, and it just failed. And now he's just not willing to try again until he's absolutely 100% positive that he's gonna break it. And yeah, there you go. Again, moving backwards, but every time it's still with those Marines pushing out. He starts taking a couple of volleys from those siege tanks, and he trades inefficiently. Losing the spawning pool right now as well. Things are looking rather bad. A 4th siege tank available as well right now. And this is just abysmal, guys. Oh, that is so many Hydralisks going down. Still with this siege tank squadron that feels like it should have been cleaned up like 2 solid minutes ago. The rest of the army of Byun already marching across, and guess what? They're bringing 7 siege tanks across. You think 3 siege tanks is difficult to deal with? You just wait and see, good sir. You just wait and see. 3 Vipers. The last potential saving grace here is these 3 Vipers. They need to get here as quickly as possible. And I'm not even sure what you want to do with them. Do you want to blinding cloud a siege tank? I guess. You want to harpoon them? Yeah, this is it. This is it, guys. There's just no way. Right? There's just no way anymore. Vipers are here. Right, let's see the Vipers. Right, you have to give it a go with the Vipers. You have them now. Let's see what he can get done. Maybe we'll be able to pick off this army for a relatively cheap cost. I don't think he has the Zergling numbers. At least here, where are his Zergling numbers? He has 46 Zerglings. They need to be here in order to get a good surround on the Marine Marauder Ball. Force a lift up so he can actually engage the tanks here. Alright. Yeah, it's just not quite what you want, right? Again, it's just cost-efficient fighting for Byun. Things just so expensive every step along the way for Armani. So he's struggling to keep up with bases in a way. Next tech tree is being developed. Finally, we do have the Lurker Den in production. But, I don't know, it just feels too little too late in a way, right? It's too little too late. GG is called. Another base was going to go down. Now you have it. Byun takes the series.